What's happening, people? We're back here once again on CubCamTV for this, another edition of CubReacts. Super excited to be back inside the building as we jump into a brand new one from Vybz Kartel. Literally just dropped on his YouTube channel. This one alongside JayCrazie. It goes by the name of Moon Pon Saturn. Really looking forward to getting into this one. As always, guys, a massive shout out to each and every one of you supporting the channel. If you aren't already subscribed, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, turning notifications on, leaving a like on the video, leaving a comment, all of that good stuff. Of course, I'm really looking forward to getting into this one, but of course I do need to remind you all there will be a lot of pauses and cuts during this reaction video. YouTube is now becoming very, very difficult to upload reaction videos up to, unless you basically break up the listening of the tune with loads of conversation. Otherwise it picks up the tune being played for a long period of time and it just blocks the upload completely. So that's why there'll be a lot more conversation and a lot more talking throughout this reaction video than normal. So what we're going to do with that is obviously break down the production, break down the vocal elements of there as well, and break down everything in between. So there's going to be a very technical kind of analytical approach to breaking this one down. So if that's not your cup of tea, feel free to watch a different reaction video. However, if you are keen on sticking around, please do. Let's get into this one. So right from the off, we're going very electronic with this. I always do a quick one to kick us off. There's always there's a lot of kind of electronic elements floating around here. We've got a really nice sort of digital arpeggio fluttering around the introduction as well. We've got those very kind of reverberated, echoey chords as well. Sounds very digital in the way it's been produced so far, which is something quite normal for Vybz Kartel. He does tend to go for quite digital sounding instrumentals these days, but it's an interesting one to begin with, just so we know what sort of path this tune's going to take, you know?
Your case like a liar, I'm a left. Start up the car now, you want him left. Now be my Trickstar,
I quite like this right from the off, purely because there's so much sort of, as I was saying earlier, digital, there's so many different digital elements to the tune right from the off. It almost makes Vybz' voice sound quite digital, and it tends to be quite digitized anyway in the way he sounds. Those chords, again, very, very kind of demonic in the way they're sounding. A lot of kind of low-end pressure going on as well. The drums are still quite scattered, not that much going on in regards to actual rhythm. It all seems to be instrumentation kind of fluttering around each other. Really interesting start to this one. There's a lot going on.
Moon Pon Saturn. Apart from me kids and money, you're all that matters. Solid gold wrist, white to your forces. So fucking nice.
I think audibly on this as well, we're really seeing Vybz Kartel do things a little bit differently with the vocal he's bringing. He's known, realistically, for kind of doing a lot of different sort of vocal patterns and maneuvers and techniques and things like that. With this one, he seems to just be throwing everything out there, drifting up and down the vocal scales, the sort of rhythmic patterns he's using as well. And again, instrumentally, there's a lot of digital stuff going on. We've heard a little bit of sort of choir harmony going on with the vocal line. On a production level, it's quite difficult to gauge where this one's going, if I'm being completely honest, because there's so much going on, possibly too much to an extent, but overall I am liking it. I feel this is one that I'm going to need to listen to numerous times right from the off.
Keep the key just in case you thief money, but you never touch a thing. Me like ya, and the pussy them a try. Fi fight ya, that hunger make me stand strong to beside.
There's such a tone, there's something about Vybz Kartel's voice. There's a tone to it, and there's like this one frequency he's able to project, which gives you that kind of feeling about the way he about the way he vocalizes things. It gives it just an energy, like an injection of kind of power in the way he speaks, and I think that's something that's very apparent across a lot of Vybz Kartel tunes. This in particular, this for me is almost like this is a lot more underground, I'd say, than a lot of the stuff we've been hearing from Vybz Kartel recently. This isn't made for the sort of day parties. This is made for the nights, you know. This is made for the sort of 2 a.m., 3 a.m. parties where everything's getting a bit more wild, I feel anyway.
Them a say another lawyer, me lawyer, find your case like a liar. Me want ya, I'm a left. Start up the car now, you want him left. Now be my
Don't know if you can pick that up as well, but there's a lot of sort of vocal backing going on behind Vybz Kartel's lead vocal. There's almost like a choir, almost like doing a bit of a chorus behind what he's saying. Again, it adds that sort of demonic nature, which is already something that's quite prevalent within this tune as a whole. Again, interesting technique being deployed there, and I think it's something we haven't heard that much from Vybz Kartel. I mean, the guy releases a tune a week. It's difficult to keep up with every single thing he does. I saw this one and was like, cool, I'm jumping on this one because I usually miss them. But yeah, interesting approach.
All of them fuck 'em up. Man, a real killer. In can't listen on at all. Drive off like jokes of hazard. Moon Pon Saturn. Apart from me kids and money.
Again, that little breakdown there, moving away from the sort of chorus block and moving into a bridge section. Not much action going on drum-wise, but again, that call and respond between the more sort of operatic, more kind of choirish vocal, the call and respond between that and Vybz' vocal as well. Really, really cool. I think this offers something a lot different, you know, something really, really different from a sort of typical bashment or typical dancehall tune. It's Vybz Kartel showing his much more creative side, I feel.
If you was that, change up yourself, be up to most pride. New moves, new excitement. You heard I meant.
Really nice switch vocal-wise again there, going into something a bit deeper, a bit more kind of, a bit more evil. I feel it's the best way to describe it. There's a much more kind of gritty tone to the vocal over this section. And again, the instrumental's thinned out a little bit behind it as well. So we are starting to hear, a lot of differentiation vocal-wise, I feel, on this tune. I feel that's the highlight of this. We're getting to see vocalists really move around and try different things the entire way through, which is always interesting for a listener. You know, it gives you something to look forward to. You're being surprised at every turn.
Fuck you like a demon. Make sure you're secure and rich more. Them I say you're not a liar, find your case like a liar.
That transition was quite nice. The way it almost kind of built up. It felt like the track. It felt almost like we were listening to a vinyl, and the vinyl was being sped up as the transition went across, and now we're hearing those choiry tones as well. Overall, this is really interesting. Just from a sonic point of view, the amount of digital instrumentation which is kind of fluttering around, combined with the constantly switching vocal patterns, it does make it genuinely quite interesting to listen to. I'm being surprised at every turn. You know, there's something different happening around every corner. Something we're hearing quite a lot in bashment now as well is these sort of mid-tune breakdowns. You know, there's not really much going on vocally here, a couple of little ad-libs or whatever, but this is basically giving the track a bit of room to breathe. You know, this is where a DJ would kind of be loading up the next tune or whatever. This is almost like a mid-section of the tune where you can kind of go, okay, cool, we're going to have a little bit of a breather, we're going to relax for a second, let the instrumental do its thing, keep the vibe rolling, but the pressure's kind of been taken off at this point, which is quite cool. We're seeing it more and more across a lot of different genres as well. We're seeing it in Afrobeat a lot more. We're seeing it in a lot of UK dancehall stuff. We're seeing it in bashment as well. Across the board, just this understanding that you can leave an instrumental to breathe a little bit, and we're hearing it here.
Them I say you're not a liar, find your case like a liar. I'm a nala.
Just for a second, take in what's going on production-wise here. There's so many sort of little tiny like flutter. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. These little almost like glitchy sound effects, almost like computerized notations going up and down and up and down and up and down. It's something that I haven't really heard before, and it genuinely is quite intriguing from a production point of view to hear those things that are going on. The vocals on this are obviously really interesting, but I feel the instrumental is something that's really different. You know, it's something that is genuinely quite groundbreaking in the way it's been put together, and I feel the video as well represents that. Obviously, this is a visualizer, it's an official audio, but it feels like a bit of a visualizer in the way that there's so many sort of things happening on screen. There's little things turning around and little processes happening and stuff. It's quite clever, the sort of syncopation between the two.
Them I say you're not a liar, find your case like a liar. I'm a nala. Start up the piano, you and him left.
This bridge section here sounds really, really cool to me. There's so much going on, so much atmosphere, so much kind of soundscaping going on in the background, and again, it gives you that time to breathe. It gives you that time to kind of rev up again, get the engine ready to roll, and I think there's a really good understanding of composition throughout this tune. I think just in general the way it's been put together is really, really clever. You can still hear it there. That arpeggio going up and down is a very, very prominent feature, even when the vocals are still there. We've still got those kind of classic sounding vocal cords, those kind of chord progressions going on throughout the tune. The drums are still quite lo-fi in the way they've been processed, but overall, it's a very interesting piece of music to listen to. And I think we are pretty much at the end now. We are onto an outro instrumental, so I'm just going to check that through, and then we'll do our sign off at the end. Right then, guys, there we go. That has been my reaction video to this one. Vybz Kartel alongside JayCrazie with New Moon Pon Saturn. Really cool tune, something very interesting to listen to from a production angle and just a general listener angle as well. I'm loving the fact that Vybz is so consistent at the moment. There's new music out there seemingly every week on his channel. Make sure you do go and follow his YouTube channel. It's one of the most active musician accounts out there right about now. As always, guys, if you did enjoy this one, make sure you do hit that subscribe button at the bottom of the page. Turn notifications on. Obviously, leave a like on the video and a comment as well. Let us know if you agree or disagree with the breakdown. Again, there isn't much we can do about having to chop it up, so I do apologize. It's the best we can do for the time being, but hopefully you can still enjoy the analysis and the breakdown as we go. Until next time, my friends, we shall see you all, and enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.